Check-in Hanyang episode 15 starts where we left off, with the minister or war dead. The prosecutor visits the crime scene and takes a drawing of a footprint and a royal jade belonging to Prince Myong. Meanwhile, the royal swordman updates the king on the latest. On the other hand, Grand Proprietor Cheon finally gets his hand on the ledger but quickly realizes it is a fake. It turns out this is all part of Deoksu's plans. Elsewhere, the Ouija Guild Master arrives at Yeonchenru with Lady Seol Meiwa. The Guild Master is excited to see her son, Myong-ho, who is still unconscious after Junhwa beats the lights out of him. The guest group demands to get the VIP room, and Junhwa gladly agrees and even escorts them. It seems he has quickly settled into his role as the new innkeeper. In the meantime, Deoksu visits Grand Proprietor Cheon and gives him the real ledger. She explains that she is done with a bloody revenge and now wants to be successful and prove her enemies wrong. Just like Grand Proprietor Cheon rose from the depths of poverty, she shares the same dream and thinks Yeonchenru is the perfect place for her to start. Grand Proprietor Cheon is impressed and offers to help as long as she marries Junhwa. After her meeting with Grand Proprietor Cheon, Deoksu runs into Junhwa, who overheard her conversation with his dad. He promises to wait until she is ready to discuss a relationship. Prince Myong also shows up, and Junhwa asks him to leave, but Deoksu asks to speak to the prince privately. Deoksu tells the prince that she gave Grand Proprietor Cheon the ledger and has made up her mind to seek revenge. He tries to beg her to stop before she is hurt, but she refuses. Back at his office, Grand Proprietor Cheon recalls how he went after Hong Min-sik to retrieve the ledger and failed. He has been looking for the second brass key for years, and now he is happy everything has worked out. At least, that is what he thinks. On the other side of Yeonchenru, the Ouija master learns of Myong-ho's predicament. Her guards try to get the real story behind the beating, and Soiree tries to take the blame. However, Junhwa intervenes and insists they take the matter up with him if they have an issue. The guild master calls for a meeting with Grand Proprietor Cheon and they come to an agreement. Grand Proprietor Cheon is not aware that the Ouija Guild didn't kill Seol Meiwa and that she is in the building. He is also not aware that Deoksu stole the chef's poisonous centipedes and left them in his room. Later, Prince Myong fetches Deoksu and takes her to Seol Meiwa. The two ladies are happy to see each other. Seol Meiwa tries to discourage Deoksu from taking her revenge, but Deoksu insists she is almost done. Seol Meiwa warns her that there is a plot to replace the king, and Prince Myong might get hurt. The scene cuts to Prince Yunsong at his place with one of his guards. It turns out that the deposed crown prince has been planning this all along and even framed Prince Myong. He has been secretly acting like Prince Myong's helper when he has been plotting his revenge. On their way back, Prince Myong confesses his love for Deoksu and vows to protect her. At Yeonchenru, the king pays Grand Proprietor Cheon an impromptu visit at night. The king wants to help Grand Proprietor Cheon destroy the ledger, but the latter is hesitant. Grand Proprietor Cheon wants to frame the royal swordman as the minister of war killer. The king is forced to back off, and as he leaves he spots Prince Myong and Deoksu. He notes how instinctively his son moved to protect Deoksu, and it annoys him. Seeing Prince Myong's demeanor change, Deoksu demands to know what is wrong. She is not shocked to hear about the king's visit, but more worried for Prince Myong. She begs him to skip town with her later that night. She is worried that if he returns to the palace, he will get hurt. At the palace, Prince Yunsong meets with Seol Meiwa and Ouija's guild master. The three discuss the upcoming political upheaval they are planning. Ouija's guild master is willing to help as long as it profits her. The prince offers to give her Yeonchenru once he destroys Grand Proprietor Cheon and the king, and takes over. This is music to the guild master's ears, and she quickly agrees. The idea of Myong-ho inheriting the famous deepens her greed. Meanwhile, Deoksu asks Prince Myong to meet her at the port later that night. Seol Meiwa and the Ouija Guild found a boat to take her out of town. Prince Myong promises to come as soon as he is done with his meeting with Prince Yunsong. Deoksu heads back to her room to pack her things. Soiree drops by and says goodbye to her. On the other hand, Grand Proprietor Cheon gives Junhwa his old sword and asks him to fight for what is his. However, Junhwa runs into Seol Meiwa, who tells him everything. At first, Junhwa is not sure who to believe. Hearing his dad killed Deoksu's family shakes him to the core. It also gives him a new dilemma as he wonders what he should do. At the palace, Prince Yensong and Prince Myong have an honest conversation. Prince Yensong admits he is looking for revenge and asks his cousin to leave the palace, never to return again. In the meantime, Deoksu waits at the port, hoping Prince Myong will make it. Unfortunately for her, the king has already sent his men to capture his son and her. By the time Prince Myong gets to the port, it is too late. The episode ends with Sumriang entering Grand Proprietor Cheon's room and launching an attack on the sleeping man. As we head toward the finale, Check in Hanyang is raising the stakes. It is obvious that the royal sword man took Deoksu, but will Prince Myong save her? We are also curious about Junhwa's decision. Will he choose his dad or Deoksu? On the other hand, it was a good twist to add Prince Yensong to the people seeking revenge. This will allow Prince Myong and Deoksu to get a fresh start away from the palace. We have watched enough historical dramas to know that if Myong becomes a king, he will have a target on his back, and Deoksu will never truly be safe. So far, Check in Hanyang has maintained a good storytelling approach. The comedy, acting, and plot have been top-notch. However, the finale can either make or break this show. If the writers don't mess it up, Check in Hanyang might end up being one of the best historical dramas of this year.